And boop.
Yep, there it is.
Yay.
And there's my phone.
I've realized my mistake
Huh?
from earlier. I did not get rid of the mature warnings while playing Hi-Fi.
Oh no.
I kind of wish Twitch made that an automatic if it already knows it's going to be an M game.
Yeah.
So I don't have to keep pressing them on and off. Like, we know what this is.
Yeah.
All games have a rating for a reason, and that's why games have a rating.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yay! Oh, wait, hold on.
You got the right avatar.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just putting my water bottle next to me instead of on the floor.
I went and got some a little bit ago. Anyways, minute 20 until the ad break is over.
Eh.
Yeah.
Good.
Anyways,
The seasons changed and spring came. Wait, we're in spring? Oh, yes, we are.
apparently.
We're in April. Kyo was filled with the cherry blossoms, and the whole city took on a festive atmosphere. Surrounded by the gentle cheer of spring, my footsteps felt somehow lighter. Okita-san watched me prance about with a crooked smile. Fuck you, Okita.
You don't need to hurry. We aren't going anywhere in particular. Just think of it as a nice, relaxing walk.
Okay, I'll be careful. That is a whole hell of a lot lighter than what he actually says in the remix. It seemed to me that it was dangerous for a captain of the Shinsengumi to think that when he was out of patrol, but I didn't dare say anything to Okita-san.
Wise choice.
Then again, things had been pretty quiet lately. Perhaps he was right. No, I told myself. I had to focus. Now was not the time or the place for high spirits. Nearby, I noticed a few ronin who slunk off into the side streets at the first glimpse of the Shinsengumi.
They're like, shit.
Run! Run! How suspicious. Why run away unless they knew they were guilty of something? I stared after them intently and must have looked as if I was about to give chase because Okita-san gave a bark of laughter.
Don't waste your energy on them. They're small potatoes.
Potatoes!
Which, I cooked some today.
Yeah, you cooked like 80 of them.
Yes. And I had at least 20 left over.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah.
100 potatoes. Anyway. Really?
Yeah, if those were the Choshu guys, then they wouldn't just run off like that. They'd be more confident. The guys who take off like that when we show up are most always just some small-time punks.
I see. I didn't.
They're probably guilty of something, maybe some minor crime. But these blues will scare off a lot of people these days.
The uniforms... The uniform's gotten pretty famous around Kyoto, hasn't it?
Well, could be infamous, depending on who you ask.
It was true, the Shinsengumi Blues brought recognition, but that was a double-edged sword. Sometimes they commanded obedience or respect, but sometimes the response was less pleasant. Their uniform had become a symbol, but there was some argument among the Shinsengumi as to whether or not they should adopt a new uniform. The real Shinsengumi did.
Yeah.
They wore black. Some people, such as Ito-san, just felt that the uniform should be changed because it wasn't fashionable. Is Ito-san back from the Imperial territories yet?
Yeah, I think so. Can't say I'd have minded if he just stayed out there, though.
He went to go recruit some of his friends and acquaintances, right?
Yeah, that's what he says. But I gotta wonder how far he really went, you know?
How far? What do you mean? If he went out past the Imperial territories, then he must really care about the Shinsengumi, right? After all, to go that far would be quite a trip to make just to get more recruits. Okita-san, however, didn't seem to think so.
That's what you think?
Am I wrong?
Nah, not really.
Okita-san stopped and gazed off into space for a moment. When he spoke, it was to himself.
Hondo-san's nice. Too nice. He should just kill Ito.
Okita-san! He had a tendency to talk of killing too easily, and too lightly, but how could you joke about killing one of your companions? He let his eyes slide to mine and gave me a small sigh.
A companion, huh?
The scorn in his voice wasn't for me, it was for Ito-san. Ever since he had first arrived, Okita-san and the rest of the captains had never seemed to like Ito-san much, but I was surprised that he would say something like that.
Where anyone would have heard.
Yep, yawn happened.
Oh.
Like that, where anyone could have heard. I glanced around to make sure no one had been paying attention. What? There, in the crowd, a face I'd seen before.
Hi, Brat.
Kaoru! The face that looked bad could easily have been mine. There was no way I could have ever mistaken that face. But no sooner had I spotted her than she disappeared, melting into the crowd. Kaoru!
Hey!
He made a grab for my arm, but I'd already moved out of his reach. I might get in trouble for it, but if I didn't go quickly, I'd lose her. Sorry, Okita-san. There's something I have to do. I caught a glimpse of his confused face as I ducked into the crowd. Boop.
How many times do I have to tell her not to run off without permission? Why can't she look at this from my point of view?
I'm sorry. But not really. I ran through the crowd as fast as I could, bobbing and weaving around citizens, going about their business, until at last I caught up to her. She was Kaoru, no mistake. Kaoru? Do you remember me? Yes, you were with the Shinsengumi. I remember you. She looked surprised. You ran after me so suddenly. It scared me. I'm I'm sorry about that, but there's something I wanted to ask you. I realized belatedly that I didn't know what I planned to do with her answer once I had it, but I knew I had to ask. One of the Shinsengumi saw a girl who looked like me at the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge a while ago. Could that have been you? I don't know. I don't go by Sanjo Ohashi fairly often.
You do go by Sanjo Owashi fairly often.
Is that a problem? She laughed
She
politely.
She does. The text did read that she goes by there.
Oh. Did you want to ask if I'd ever been there at night? Could it be? Could Kauta really have been the girl who interrupted the Shinsengumi that night? If it was an autumn night, and you got in the Shinsengumi's way...
Then you and I are gonna need to have a little talk. I don't want to give away all the details, but it ends with your death.
Huh? Okita-san... I hadn't realized he caught up with me so quickly. Oh, you're Okita-san from the Shinsengumi. Thank you for helping me the other day. She bowed, but Okita-san didn't even seem to notice.
He didn't care. So you can answer the question? Where were you that night?
Okita-san wore the same half-smile he always did, but his body was as tight as a bowstring, ready to have his blade in his hand at a moment's notice. My death? Please, don't say scary things like that. Lots of people pass by Sanjo Ohashi during the day. At night, though, I don't go near it because of the notice board stuff.
I feel a sneeze coming on because I smell bullshit.
It was almost as if she'd read my mind. I can't believe you I can't believe you suspect me just because my face happens to look like someone else's. I don't know anything. Oh, of course, I understand. She looked so sad. I felt I had to say something. I knew it wasn't you. After all, how could a normal girl do anything to the men of the Shinsengumi? Okita-san seemed less convinced. His eyes shifted to me.
And why do you say that? Because she's a girl? Or because she looks like you?
No, that's not it. I couldn't bring myself to admit that he was exactly right. I'd assumed Kauta couldn't possibly have done it simply because she was a girl. Can I go now? Excuse me. Kauta... She turned and ducked away, disappearing back into the crowd. Had I done the right thing, I wondered, in covering for her? I was pondering whether or not I should give chase again when I heard Okita-san begin to cough. Oh no!
I did that out of reflex, holy shit.
Oh my god! Okita-san, are you okay? He was bent nearly double and coughing uncontrollably, his entire body shaking with each cough. Okita-san!
Stay back!
As I stepped towards him, he threw out a hand and twisted his face upwards to glare at me. What?
I'm fucking... Oh, just... Oh, stay there. Okay?
It was the sheer force of his personality that stopped me, not just his words. After a while, his coughing slowed, then subsided entirely. Okita-san, is something wrong?
Like what?
When he turned to look at me this time, his sardonic half smile was back. He looked every part the usual Okita-san, except that he had grown frighteningly pale. I mean, why don't we find somewhere to rest? You look like you were in a lot of pain.
Oh, I'm just tired. I mean, you did make me run all the way over here.
But
I don't want to hear it. I'm fine. Now,
his expression was suddenly hard.
about that girl. Asking her about the thing with the nose board was important. I agree with you.
Good then. We needed to know if she was an enemy of the Shinsengumi or not. I needed to know.
No, because of how important that is. You shouldn't have run off on your own like that. What if she had been an enemy of ours? Could you have handled her?
Well,
Did you even consider that possibility? That she'd planned to lure you here? It's a great spot for an ambush, you know.
you're right. She hadn't tried to attack me, but Okita-san was right. Next time I might not be so lucky. I could have easily run right into a trap.
You need to be more careful, alright? I can take care of you, but without me around, you're just a useless kid.
Sorry. The Shinsengumi had done so much for me. I just wanted to give something back. Instead, I'd only caused more trouble for them.
Alright. Lecture's over.
Okita-san looked tired and more than a little frustrated. I tried to apologize again, but he cut me off.
Stop being so timid. You can rely on us when you need to. I got pretty used to saving your ass at this point. It's a couple more times not gonna mean too much.
He let out a snort of laughter. Ooh, it's time. It's time. That night, after everyone else had gone to bed, I lay awake thinking about what had happened. I couldn't forget what Okita-san had said. A useless kid. He was right. Compared to the captains, no, even compared to the weakest Shinsengumi foot soldier, I was pathetic. There was nothing I could do for them. It wasn't as if I tried to imagine myself as some sort of warrior, but to have my lack of worth so bluntly stated was something of a blow. I lay there staring at the ceiling. I couldn't go on like this. Tomorrow, I start working harder. I didn't want to run off on more pointless adventures that did nothing more than cause trouble. That meant I needed to develop better judgment. And if I'm going to do that, I need my sleep. But no sooner had I closed my eyes. What? There was a crash from the hallway outside of my room. I rolled up and out of my bed just as the door exploded into my room. Standing in the hall was one of the Shinsengumi soldiers. Is something wrong? It was stark inside and out, and I couldn't see his face. He just stood there. I felt a chill run up my spine. Did you need something?
I need blood.
He was one of the Furies.
Give me blood.
I could see now that his face was twisted in madness, and his eyes shone like twin fires in the night. His hair glistened white in the moonlight. He was a member of the Fury Corps, and he was utterly and completely mad. I had to call for help. I couldn't possibly face a deranged superhuman monster on my own. No, I couldn't call for help. If I did, then the secret of the Furies would get out. That would be bad for the Shinsengumi. I had to find another way. The Fury, unfortunately, was not seemingly encumbered by doubts. What was that?
I figured it'd fit.
I couldn't even hear it. Nope, Discord hates it. Moving on.
Discord.
His sword hissed through the air, and I felt the metal of its blade burn into the flesh of my arm.
Ooh.
Blood sprang from the cut. I pressed down on it desperately with my free hand, but to no avail. Thick red liquid spilled between my fingers, fled down my arm and onto the floor.
Yes. Blood. Give me blood.
He began to creep towards me, his movements odd and jerky, like a massive spider. Yeah. I backed away from him until I felt my back hit the wall. I was going to die. Suddenly, I remembered Okita-san's words from earlier that day.
Stop being so timid. You can rely on us when you need to.
That was it then. My death wasn't worth their secret. Someone help!
Discord did not like that.
I bet it didn't.
Blood.
He was down on his hands and knees, licking my spilt blood on the floor. I didn't read it as split. Ha ha! I win. This time, at least. There was no samurai there. There wasn't even a person in him anymore. My blood on the floor had distracted him, but I knew that would only last precious seconds, if help didn't arrive soon. The seconds went by like hours. Please, I beg to any god who might be listening, let someone come.
Not enough.
He looked up from the floor. My sleeve... My sleeve was soaked in blood from the cut on my arm. His eyes locked into mine, and I saw them light up with animal hunger. His grin was a nightmarish thing.
Yes, that. Give me more of your blood.
No! There was no doubt he was going to kill me. I froze.
Hey, you alive?
Yes! I hear ambulances outside, or like a siren.
I wonder if they're coming in response for you.
Oh, please, no. Oh god, it got louder! I don't know if you can hear that.
I don't, but
chat.
I'll take your word for it.
Hichikata-san had appeared in the doorway, his sword already drawn and shining in the moonlight. The Fury spun to attack Hichikata-san, but the commander's sword was faster.
I don't take Discord like that.
No, I didn't. Hold on, I gotta... Boop, 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 boop. Let's just boost that up all the way up.
Yeah. Movie? Yeah. Okay.
Alright. His twisted cry reverberated from the walls of the room, but he stood still. Despite the wound Hijikata-san had given him, sword in hand.
Get over here, now!
Yes! As I ran to his side, I heard other footsteps pounding down the hallway, and in mere moments they resolved into the figures of the other captains.
Yeah, this is bad. I don't think he can even understand us. Yeah, he's too far gone. We can't let him live.
At some unspoken signal, a chorus of blades slid from their scabbards. Wait. Only those two?
A chorus of blades slid from their scabbards.
No, yeah, hold on. No, we're missing a person.
It couldn't have been me, was it?
Are you here? Yay!
Yes, I am. Shit! Sano! Don't screw this up! Who the hell do you think we are, Hesuke? If a captain can't take out a simple soldier, even if he is a fury, he'd have to resign. Assuming he wasn't dead.
They fanned out quickly, surrounding the wounded soldier. There was no escape. The captains all attacked at once, and the fury died almost instantly.
Oh, that sounded brutal.
The excitement was over. Or so I thought. But it hadn't been only the captains who'd heard my cry for help.
Oh no. What's going on here? Damn it. What on earth happened to that man? All of this room has been stained with blood. How savage!
His voice and his face were filled with shock and horror.
Why have our captains cut down one of their own men? Explain this at once. What happened here?
The captains fell silent.
My apologies. My lack of discipline is at fault here.
Sanan-san?
Sanan-san?
His appearance surprised me, and likely everyone else. It seemed like it would have been more prudent for him to remain hidden. Needless to say, the appearance of a man he thought dead did little to improve Ito-san's disposition.
Sanan-san? What are you doing here?
Ito-san's usual composure was almost entirely gone, and he gaped openly at Sanan-san.
What? What?
Okay, I guess the remakes gave Ito a lot more expressions. Because that's not the expression he has in this scene. I couldn't really blame him. I probably would have done much the same thing if I saw a dead man walking and talking.
I will explain later, but first we must clean up this mess.
Sanan-san's face looked tight and drained. As the commander of the Fury Corps, he likely felt responsible for what had happened, as the man who had gone mad was supposed to have been under his control.
Not your fault, Sanan. It's not your fault, Sanan-san. It's just a side effect of the treatment, right? It's nothing you can do. What? What are you saying? Treatment? What are they talking about, Sanan? I'm afraid I cannot divulge that information.
Sanan-san's gaze slid to Ito-san for a moment, but he said nothing further. After all, what could he possibly say? How could one admit that they had been creating inhuman monsters in secret out of one's own soldiers? Ito-san's composure regained at last. He leveled a glare at Sanan-san.
I was told that Sanan-san had passed away, and with no reason to doubt that information, I believed it was true. I see now that you have all conspired against me. I am the deputy commander of the Shinsengumi. To do all of this without informing me? I dearly hope you have a satisfactory explanation. If all you're gonna do is bitch, why don't you do us all a favor and shut up? What? How dare you speak to me in such a manner, Hijikata-san? You... Calm down now, Ito. I'm sure Toshi didn't mean to snap, but we're all just a little on edge right now. You have to understand. Oh, I understand, all right. I understand that you are savages. Each and every one of you. I can no longer abide the company of such uncivilized cretins any longer. And as for you, San, when you are finished here, I expect to hear why you are, in fact, not deceased, and why this was hidden from me. Ugh. Are you listening to me, San? Wow,
Oh,
not like that.
no, it did not. And this is
Oh no!
different. Ooh, this is really different. What is going on? Sanan-san? Certainly, I realized he wasn't just being dismissive of Ito-san. There was something very wrong with him. His face was twisted in pain, and he didn't seem to respond at all, no matter how much I shouted his name.
What's wrong, San?
Sanan-san,
Chizuru-chin, get back. Oh, it's just Chizuru, right?
yeah.
Chizuru, get back. Oh, it's Yukimura. Never mind.
Yeah,
no,
it is.
Chizuru's right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, maybe it's, in this one originally it's Chizuru, but in the remix they were like Yukimura. Maybe.
Yukimura,
Yeah.
Chizuru, get back.
What? His hair had begun to turn white. Oh.
He is Super Saiyan.
Alright, this is different. This is... By the time I realized what was happening, it was too late. Sanan-san's hand shot out like an angry snake and closed around my wrist. Snake
No.
analogies!
Snake.
Snake!
Goddamn snake. Okay, we're good. Moving on.
We're fine. The crisis averted. Ow. The strength of his grip was unbelievable. His fingers might have been made of stone for all I could move them. I could almost feel the bones of my arm begin to bend under the strain. Sanan-san!
Blood. This blood.
His fingers pressed against my arm too hard, wiping off some of the blood from the cut the soldier had given me. Oh, I see what they have done.
Ah, please, give me blood. Your blood.
No, let me go.
Stop it, San. Damn it! The smell of blood's driving him crazy. There it goes, San.
Each man still had his hand on his sword, but I could see the hesitation in their eyes. It was Hijikata-san who finally spoke.
Hold him down. We're gonna have to get a little rough. Damn it. I guess we have no choice. Sorry about this, son.
How did a spear fades into nothing?
What is this?
Huh?
Oh.
What?
Oh. Just gotta respond to a text. Go for it. I can't let you hurt Chizuru.
They moved into a circle around Sanan-san, their blades glinting.
Are you going to kill Sonnen? I can't allow you to do that. Ito, it's dangerous here. How about we should lead this to Toshi and the others? Come on. Kondo-san? What are you? Unhand me!
Kondo-san pulled a struggling Ito-san from the room and off down the hall.
Good boy.
Thank you, Kondo!
Thank you, Kondo-san. Good. Now we just have to take care of him. It's not gonna be easy. Sanan-san's always been pretty strong, and now he's, well, you know. Blood. Yes, my body. It needs the blood.
His tongue flickered out to lick my blood from his fingers.
Alright, that's enough. Just come on, Shin, Sano, let's go. We all attack together. Wait. What? We don't have all night, Hijikata. He's doing something. Chikata-san. Sanan? Sanan-san, what's going on? What happened?
The madness was gone from Sanan-san's eyes, and his hair was quickly fading back to its normal color. Sanan-san?
Yukimura-kun? What am I doing here?
Thank goodness, you're yourself again!
Discord did not like that either.
I was relieved to see they hadn't been forced to cut Sanan-san down, but why had he returned to normal?
What the hell just happened? Your guess is as good as mine. Hell if I know.
The captains weren't the only ones confused. Sanan-san himself seemed to be just as surprised at his sudden transformation.
I see. So I went mad. Just like the others.
And then, all of a sudden, you were normal again. I just can't understand how.
How? I don't know. We can figure it out later. First, we need to clean up this room. Somebody get rid of that body. That floor mat's gonna have to go. And we're gonna have to replace this door.
Each of them moved to begin some tasks I needed doing, and Hijikata-san turned towards me.
You.
Yes, of course. I'll help too.
You're hurt. What you need to do is rest. Since you obviously can't use your room, you can stay in mine for tonight.
Your room? Are you sure?
Do I have a choice? Go.
Yes! I had no desire to remain in the blood-soaked room any longer than I had to. It took me only minutes to reach Hijikata-san's room. Whoosh. Okay. Birds! Huh? Is it morning already? Okay,
Turn that down, like, a little bit?
No, that wasn't what I was going about. I was thinking about that whole scene that just happened, and I wish they didn't get rid of it in the remake. It makes the scene in Fudodo make 100 times more sense with Sanan and asking for blood, because at that point he realized, shit, her blood actually does something to Furies, and I need to figure this shit out. But I'm also a little bit mad. But anyway, the sun was peeking through the window, and outside I could hear twitters and chirps of bird song. Oh, right. The room I was in wasn't mine. It took me a moment to remember whose room it was, and then all of the events of the previous night crowded back into my memory. I saw vividly the man who'd gone mad with bloodlust, felt the sting of his sword bit into my arm. I got cut. I looked down at my arm. I'd wrapped it in bandages the night before, after insisting that I could handle it myself, being the daughter of a doctor. Slowly I lifted it, then moved it in a circle. The cut had bled a lot, but fortunately it hadn't been particularly deep.
Ugh.
I moved my arm some more. It didn't hurt. It bled so much, though. With deliberate care, I unwrapped the bandages. Of course. What had been an ugly open wound the night before was now little more than a faint white line. In a few days, even that would be gone. Well, I guess it's good that the wound is gone. But if anyone sees this... After some thought, I rewrapped the bandages. Unless they took them off, no one would know that my arm was completely healed underneath. That reminded me, however, how are they doing? I was awake, so I figured I might as well go out to the common room and see if anyone was there. As I neared the entrance, Ito-san appeared on his way out. Heisuke and Saito-san followed him in his wake, much to my confusion. Good morning.
Oh, it's you. Good morning. I'm glad to see you're safe and sound.
Thank you? I just took a sip. I'm taking another sip, I guess.
Yeah.
Sippy sippy. His mood was almost the polar opposite of the previous night. He seemed now to be in rather high spirits. Has something happened?
Oh, would you like to know? Oh, would you like to know?
Yes.
I won't tell you. Well, you'll learn soon enough. Isn't that right, Todo? Saito?
What? I cocked my eyebrow at Heisuke and Saito-san.
Yeah, I guess.
The moment our eyes met, he looked away. That seemed odd. Saito-san?
You have no need of this information just now.
Unlike his companion, Saito-san met my gaze straight on, but his eyes were flat and utterly devoid of any emotion.
We should go. We should go, Ito. Ito-san. Huh? Yeah. See you later, Chizuru.
And then they were gone, leaving me wondering just what had happened.
Are you sure it's alright for you to be up and about already?
Inoue-san and Shimada-san looked up as soon as I stepped into the common room. Kai Shimada, an officer of the Shinsengumi, as well as a spy. During times of peace, he also serves on the Shinpachi in the 2nd Division. Because they're friends.
Yeah.
They're friends. They were friends before they joined the Shinsengumi.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I slept really well and I feel a lot better.
That's great. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to you, though. Does your cut hurt?
Oh, well, actually, it wasn't very deep. It barely hurts at all. I couldn't tell them the truth, of course, that it was already almost completely healed. Oh, I ran into Ito-san on my way in. Did something happen?
Oh, you saw them, eh?
He frowned. He said something weird. And Heisuke and Saito-san were acting kind of strange too.
Yeah. Well, Ito-san and some of the others are leaving. They're going to form a new group, different from the Shinsengumi.
What? Is that okay?
They had a meeting this morning with the chief and Commander Hijikata. Guardians of the Imperial Tomb?
Guardians of the Imperial Tomb, an organization that guarded the Emperor's tomb. It was formed by Kashitaro Ito after his departure from the Shinsengumi. The name also refers to the members of this organization.
Yes. I intend to take some of my comrades and leave. We will be appointed official guardians of the Imperial Mausoleum. I have been considering such a move for some time now, but after last night's excitement, I felt this was the right time. I knew when I joined the Shinsengumi that my imperialism might not be welcome, but I thought that we could work past that. I see now that I was mistaken. Just spit it out, Ito. You want to split up the Shinsengumi. Call it what you like, but I can no longer remain in the company of such savages as yourself. If you insist, then I will do as you ask. You must remember, however, that last night's incident is a result of the orders from the shogunate. We cannot allow you to reveal this secret. Then I propose a deal. Allow me to depart peacefully, and in return, I will remain silent. I also wish to bring several of your men with me. Very well, but anyone you wish must agree to leave. Of course. I will naturally maintain the fiction that we intend to continue to cooperate with one another. A stance that will no doubt benefit both of us. Cooperation. Fine. Toshi, what do you think? It's your decision, not mine.
Then Heisuke and Saito-san. Heisuke Toro. He left the Shinsengumi with Kashitaro Ito to join the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb.
Same thing with Saito.
Hajime Saito left the Shinsengumi along with Kashitaro Ito to join the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb. Yay!
Yes, I see they are leaving with Ito. I confess I'm rather surprised.
No. Then would that mean I could never see them again?
Don't worry. Remember what I said? We're going to keep relations amicable between our two organizations.
Kondo-san. It was kind of him to try and comfort me, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was going to befall the Shinsengumi and its members. You
aren't going to let the men interact with the guard, though, right?
Guard, the Guard, short for the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb, the organization formed by Ito's son when he broke from the Shinsengumi. The expression on his face was likely a mirror of my own.
Of course not. He gets to leave, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna let him get away with whatever he wants.
But is this really okay? Ito-san and the others leaving, I mean.
Ito and his men are leaving isn't a problem.
Hijikata-san's voice was flat but unconcerned.
Although I was a little surprised that Heisuke and Saito decided to go with that snake.
He's not a snake, he's a
goddamn snake.
He's not a snake, he's a kitsune. Sanan is our resident snake. I'm sorry, I have to say that.
My rule is law, shut up. I would say it was more than a little.
From there, the conversation moved into a discussion of politics and the like that was beyond my ability to follow. What could I have said anyway? The decision had already been made, and there was nothing I could have said to change it. I got up quietly and left the common room. I never thought something like this could happen. I was especially worried about
The soldiers?
the soldiers. What about the feelings of those who were being left behind? I wanted to know how the people in the Shinsengumi felt about Ito-san and his followers leaving. I decided to ask.
Someone close to the people who were leaving.
Nope.
Oh. So then it's someone neutral?
Nope. Someone
Oh.
high-ranking.
Wow.
What route are we on?
I couldn't.
The heads of the Shinsengumi seemed like the best people to ask, but they were all still talking in the common room. My voice cracked. Perhaps I should wait a bit until they were done. Almost as if on cue, Hijikata-san appeared in the hallway. Oh, hello, Hijikata-san.
Shouldn't you be resting?
Oh, I feel a lot better now.
Your dad's a doctor. You know a little about medicine. But that doesn't mean you're invulnerable. Go back to your room and try not to run around too much.
Okay, I'll be careful. It was easy to forget one had suffered a significant injury when it healed almost immediately by morning. I'll go right back to my room, but can I ask you something first?
What?
It's about Ito-san and the people who are leaving with him. How do you feel about all that?
What do you mean?
Well, people who are members of the Shinsengumi won't be.
We were allies yesterday, but if our positions change, we could be enemies tomorrow. That's life.
No wonder they called him the demon. His voice was cold, calculating, and utterly flat. But what about Saito-san and Heisuke? They had all been captains together. Surely Hijikata-san saw them as friends, at least.
Saito and Todo. It's going to be rough to lose a pair of skilled swordsmen, yes. But think about the future. If they're leaving, they had some problem with the Shinsengumi. Better they leave now than before that problem getting worse.
How could he be so cold and analytical about his friends? On the other hand, his logic made sense. If Ito-san and company were leaving because they were incompatible with the Shinsengumi, then perhaps it was for the best. But was the best thing for the future of the Shinsengumi also the best thing for Hijikata-san? I couldn't understand. My wound healed completely soon afterward, but I kept the bandages on. I got plenty of questions about how I was recovering, but the best I could do was nod, smile, and assure them that I was fine. The truth was, I didn't even have a scar. I couldn't have pointed out where on my arm I had been cut if someone had asked me. When Ito-san and his followers, now the guardians of the Imperial Tomb, left, the compound seemed suddenly very empty. I felt like the Shinsengumi was falling apart around me, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Was this nothing more than a natural result of the Shinsengumi's growth, or the harbinger of something far greater and more terrible? July, is there banging over there?
Yeah. I'll say it is.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I should go to sleep.
Alright, well that's it for the stream, guys.
No. We're not. God damn it. Now for, oh God. I should go to sleep. As if chiding myself would help. My mind was wide awake. I wasn't falling asleep anytime soon. But why? I was nervous, certainly, and I trained earlier that day, but neither of those was anything new. I needed to get to sleep soon, or I'd oversleep in the morning, and that would be embarrassing. As I forced my eyes shut for the 1000th time, I heard the door to my room slide open.
Are you awake?
Hijikata.
Are you awake?
Yes! The voice outside belonged to Hijikata-san. I scrambled to my feet.
Oh.
What is it?
You have a visitor.
A visitor? Who would come to visit me?
You'll see. Hurry up.
Right. I shuffled down the hallway after him and burst into the common room. Kondo-san, Okita-san, Harada-san, Nagakura-san, all of the top men in the Shinsengumi were there, and so was someone else. Hello, Chizuru. I gotta remember the voice now. Hello, Chizuru-chan. How are you doing? Sen? My visitor was Sen?
Well then.
We met in Kyoto proper some time ago. She was near my age, but had a unique and overwhelming personality, which had allowed her to see right through my disguise. But why had she come to the Shinsengumi? Only then did I notice a beautiful woman dressed as a ninja seated next to Sen.
Now, what are you gonna do for her?
It was a Black Mesa voice. Oh, yes.
Right.
She is with me. My bodyguard, one might say.
Your retainer.
Bodyguard. That answered nothing and only prompted more questions. The captains kept silent, content to simply observe our conversation. Whatever was about to transpire, it seemed they intended to leave the decision to me. So, Sen, why are you here? I've come to take you.
What?
That had not been on the short list I'd begun to compile of reasons Sen had sought my company in the middle of the night. A quick glance around the room revealed that it had not been on anyone else's either. Pardon? I don't understand what you're saying. No, what you don't understand is the situation. But you needn't worry. You do trust me, don't you? I certainly didn't suspect her of anything untoward?
Untoward.
on toward
I guess.
meh. But there's no time. We must make preparations to leave immediately. Silent until that moment, the woman at Sen's elbow finally spoke. Wait, hold on. Why should I go with you?
Yeah, that's a damn good question. You just barge in here, ask to see her, and spring this on us.
Hmm. But
I think it's about time you told us what the hell's going on here.
please, Sen. I didn't let my gaze waver from her eyes. Yes, I do suppose you have a point. Very well, I shall begin at the beginning.
It was the Big Bang.
She cast her gaze around the room. This explanation was not simply for my benefit. You are familiar with Kazuma, yes? I heard you have crossed swords with him once or twice.
How do you know that?
Oh, well, I hear of most things that happen in Kyo, eventually.
You're something like Kazuma and his punks, aren't you?
Alright, you're smiling, Hijikata.
I don't know.
I would rather prefer not to be associated with his ilk, but yes, in a sense you are correct.
Fine. You were talking about Kazuma. He showed up at Ikadaya, Hamaguri, and Ijo. He's got something to do with the Satsuma Choshu, doesn't he? Well, most of the time it seems like he is there for his own reasons, not any not any kind of domain politics. Either way, he's an enemy of the Shinsengumi.
Then you are also aware that he is pursuing your lady friend here? Sen gestured at me for the captain's benefit, then fixed me with a level stare. What was going on? This was getting stranger and stranger, and I was starting to think I didn't really want to know the rest of the story.
Probably not. We are aware of that. We are also aware of the fact that we have been in an ad break in progress here, and that Kazuma and his companions call themselves demons. Not that we're inclined to believe such a claim, of course. Yes, we are in an ad break.
What the fuck was that, sir?
She is laughing like hell.
Why did you do that?
Because I just glanced down at the Twitch stream. Don't worry, we've only got like 35 seconds on it.
I'm gonna drink some water.
Yeah. $25 seconds. I'll just wait until it comes back in order for me to do the line in 10 seconds.
I thought my water bottle was making noises. We're fine.
We're fine.
We're fine. You know, fine. Not dying.
Fine, just fine.
Absolutely fine.
Alright. We are aware of that. We are also aware that Kazuma and his compatriots called themselves demons. Not that we're inclined to believe such a claim, of course. Regardless, we must consider it. They have demonstrated several times that they have strength and skill beyond any human. Guess you know, huh, Sonnen? I believe that calls for it.
Fuck you, Okuta. Yep. The room grew slightly more uncomfortable. I didn't think Okuta-san had meant to offend with his remarks, but... go on, Sen? Then you know they are demons. Excellent. That will save me some time then. I am not a human either. I am also a demon.
Dun, dun, dun.
A demon? Sen was a demon? I am, in fact, a princess. Princess Sen. Princess... Eh?
Just to get the thing up. Whoosh.
Princess Sen, an acquaintance of the heroine. They first met each other in Kyo. She says she is a demon. That's all you need to know. Are we all caught up? Great. Good.
Let's go.
With that, she gave us an elegant bow, exactly like what one might expect from a princess. I come from a family of ninja who have served Princess Sen and her family for generations.
I wondered why you were being so friendly. You were gathering information on the Shinsengumi.
I have no idea what you mean. She tilted her head to the side politely and met Hijikata-san's glare with an innocent smile.
You know her? Move up your eyes about 6 inches, Senpachi. That's Kimigiku. She's, dressed a little different from when we met her at Shimabara, but that's her face, alright.
Again, I gotta point out, where were you looking, Nagakura?
Let's see. Instead of, her face, he was looking at her, let's say, eyes.
Kimigiku, who worked as a Shimabara courtesan, was only a cover. Her true role was that of a spy and bodyguard of Princess Sen. Shimabara, the district in Kyo where one could find licensed courtesans, and also called the Red Light District. Yeah, okay, that's all we need to know. I like the fact that I have made Kimigiku refer to Haruka as Haruko-sama just to piss her off.
What?
Nagakura nearly fell over in shock. Jesus Christ, man.
I know, right? That's funny.
After recovering, he made a great show, staring pointedly at Kimigiku's face. For his effort, he receives a smile identical to the one Hijikata-san had received. Kimigiku! You bitch!
Kimigiku, why?
We demons have lived in this country since a very long time. The top officials in the shogunate and in many of the domains already know of us. It was still something of a shock, but after meeting Kazuma and his companions, it was somewhat easier to accept Sen's explanation as the truth. Most demons had no interest in human matters, and preferred to be left alone, to go about their own affairs in peace. However, humans in position of power saw that they might achieve great things with the assistance of demons, and so demanded that assistance. And did the demons obey? Many did not. They felt they had no obligation to involve themselves in human affairs. Human ambition meant nothing to them. But when they refused, the human lords were furious. They sent out great armies to destroy the villages of the demons. How horrible! The demon clans scattered across the country and were, perforce, sent into hiding. No longer isolated in their own communities, demons began to mate with humans. These days, there are few demons who can claim a pure bloodline.
And I assume Kazuma is one of these?
Sen nodded. Currently, the largest pureblood family in the West is the Kazuma clan, who have the support of the Satsuma domain. The head of that family you have already met, Shikage Kazuma. Shikage Kazuma. In the east, the largest family is the Yukimura.
Dun, dun, dun.
What? I had heard the Yukimura family had been destroyed, but it would seem there is a survivor. That survivor is her. Chizuru-chan, the blood that runs in your veins is pure and strong. I sense great power from you. No way, but No, you are very much a demon. I apologize, but there it is. Protagonist. The main character was informed by Princess Sen that she is a demon.
Dun, dun, dun.
And in my book, she is also a princess.
Eh.
I mean, come on.
Huh?
The finality of her words brought a cold silence in the room. I had no desire to believe her story, but the more I thought back to events that had seemed utterly nonsensical, the more it made sense. Now I knew why Cosmo was after me, and why I'd always healed so much more quickly than anyone else. If Chizuru-chan is indeed a descendant of a pure-blooded demon, then Cosmo's desire for her is clear. Should two purebloods mate, they will produce an even more powerful demon.
Ah, so he wants her for his bride.
Kondo-san said it, not me.
Yeah.
After a fashion, yes. Kazuma will definitely return for her. Thus far, he has been content to toy with you, but I cannot guess how much longer that may last. Should he devote all of his formidable abilities to this task, I do not think he will be able to protect her. Even the Shinsengumi cannot stand against the true power of a demon.
Whoa there, princess. Don't you think that's going a bit far? Senpachi's right. You ain't giving us enough credit.
The only reason you are still alive is because Kazuma and his companions have not turned their full strength on you.
Then let them. I should dearly like to see the power of a true demon.
Sanan, still looking.
Goddamn snake!
Still looking for a fight. Sanan-san! Kazuma and his friends had already demonstrated incredible strength. Even the captains of the Shinsengumi had been easily brushed aside. If that was not even the full extent of their strength, then a battle to the death against one of them would be.
Let me be clear, lady. We are the Shinsengumi, the wolves of Mibu. We're not going to piss ourselves over a demon or two. Yeah, very true. Besides, we got the demon himself in command, don't we, Hijikata-san? Always have to have the last word, don't you, Soji?
I understand how you feel, but you must realize that these men are unlike any other foe you have faced before. That is why I must ask you to leave Chizuru-chan to us. In our care, her chances of survival would be much higher.
Hey, give us a chance, alright? You think we can't protect her? Besides, what do you mean chances? If you can't guarantee her safety, I don't see why we should hand her over to you. Look, lady, you're not part of the Shinsengumi, so I'd appreciate if you keep your nose out of our business, alright?
They had made it quite clear that they weren't interested in Sen's offer. Perhaps they'd been a little harsh, but I couldn't deny the warm feeling of being part of a family who was unwilling to let me go. What about you, Hijikata-san?
You've acknowledged Cosmo's strength. Surely you must at least consider the princess's offer.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Our brains are just... bleh. Did you just go woo?
Yes.
Why?
Because?
You've acknowledged Kazuma's strength. Surely you must at least consider the princess's offer. Please give Chizuru to us.
That's different.
Kimigiko's smile froze.
I don't know how strong our enemy is, really. But that doesn't change the fact that we'll protect her. In the name of the Shinsengumi. Besides, you're a demon also. Why the hell should we trust you?
Do you know who you're speaking to? Princess Sen is a descendant of Suzuka Gozen. Suzuka Gozen, a female demon said to have lived on Suzuka Mountain. She fell in love with Tamura Maro Sakanoe and went to live with him in Yase, which is where the clan is now, currently, in this present time and place and point. Kimigiko, please. That is not necessary. Her tone was calm and friendly, but it left no room for argument.
I agree with Hijikata-san. She should stay here with us, with the Shinsengumi.
Kimigiko glared at Sanan-san but said nothing. I see. That is a problem, then. There is no way I can convince you? Kondo-san had remained silent for most of the discussion, his arms folded in thought, but at last he spoke.
Yukimura-kun, what do you have to say about this?
Me? Well, I
see. It must be difficult to discuss with an audience. You want to speak with Princess Sen alone. What the hell, Kondo?
Hijikata-san wasn't the only one to object. Most of the room rose up in protest.
Hey, man, there should be at least one witness. The princess may take Kimigiku as well, of course. No, that is not necessary.
Kondo-san swept his gaze across the room.
Yukimura-kun has shown herself to be reasonable. I've no doubt that she won't do anything foolish. Am I correct, Yukimura-kun?
Of course. I would never betray you. Any of you.
Well, if Kondo-san says so.
His words spoke for the rest of them as well.
Reluctantly.
They may not like it, but Kondo-san was the chief. What he said went.
They relented reluctantly. You won't steal her away the moment you two are alone, will you?
You needn't worry. I am not like Kazuma. What was that?
My phone about the Russian Badger being live on,
Oh.
right now. He's got, Lethal Company going. Anyways.
That has been popping up a lot everywhere.
I know, right?
What the fuck is it?
It's a survival, collecting game. Like, you go out and you have to collect, scrap and everything, and you're dodging monsters along the way.
Oh, goody! I don't know how I feel about that. I'll be fine. Sen isn't a bad person. Why, thank you, Chizuru-chan. She smiled. There's that smile again. A few moments later, we found ourselves alone in my room. I know I've given you a terrible amount of things to think on this evening, and I'm awfully sorry. Now that we were alone, she was less formal. This was the Sen I had met in Kyo all those months ago. No, it's alright. I'm sorry about, them. They said some pretty mean things. Well, that's to be expected, I fear. I was asking rather a lot of them, and frightfully suddenly. Not many humans would accept the existence of demons so readily. But enough of that. On to business. What do you say to my offer? Have you thought of it? I had indeed. If Sen had come to me when I first arrived in Kyo, I might well have taken her up on her hospitality. But now... The Shinsengumi seems to believe that it can protect you. Though I do not doubt their dedication, I confess I do doubt their ability. Perhaps what she said was true. To stand against demons would be no mean feat. The Shinsengumi was powerful and skilled. I'd see them face overwhelming odds and emerge victorious, but always those odds had been only human. The strength of even a single demon was something great and terrible. Of that there was no doubt. We had all seen so firsthand, and some even lost their lives to that strength. Even the captains had nearly fallen before them. Will you come with us, then? It is dangerous for you to remain with the Shinsengumi. Sen. Her eyes were serious, but warm and honest. Whatever else she might be, her concern for me was real. Thank you, Sen, but... Take a shot.
It's Frank. And I was gonna make you do that as soon as this whole one-sided conversation gets done.
I hesitated. What?
Because I'm not a part of it.
I know. Is there a reason you wish to stay? Oh my. One of those gentlemen, perhaps? What? Her question had been entirely innocent, although it had caught me off guard. I couldn't possibly lie to her.
Yes.
Yes. I nodded and did my best to look confident. I see. She smiled. Well, I shan't ask who, but I can certainly understand your dilemma. That being the case, I couldn't possibly tell you to leave. Thank you for waiting.
Frank.
Another drink. The common room was just as we'd left it, and every head swiveled to look at Sen and me as we stepped back in.
Really?
It didn't look as though they'd tried to kill each other in our absence, which was something of a relief.
Good. Have you come to a decision?
Before I could speak, Sen stepped forward. After some discussion, we have decided to leave things as they are. Sen. She bowed deeply to the captains. Are you sure, Your Highness? Quite. For now, I believe it is of utmost importance to prioritize Chizuru-chan's desire.
Very well. The Shinsengumi acts accepts responsibility for her well-being.
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than all the captains rushed towards me. Oh, Jesus!
Just relax and leave it all to me. Oh, I'm sure Senpaji will give you all sorts of other things to worry about. Still, glad to have you around. Yeah, what kind of girl would want to stay here? This doesn't make you some kind of special guest. You'll get the same treatment you always have.
Right. Thank you, all of you, for letting me stay.
And take a drink, everybody.
Yup. We need a water button or something.
We do have a water button.
We have a water button?
Yes. There it is.
God fucking damn it, that's not what I meant!
You have fallen for the most classic of blunders, the most famous of which is never get involved in a land war in Asia.
What?
It's from The Princess Bride.
Oh, Jesus.
I love that movie. What can I say?
I haven't watched it since like 8th grade or something.
I have a DVD copy. I watch it pretty much all the time.
Sen took my hands in hers and let her eyes rest on mine. Do be careful, and remember, I am on your side.
Hi.
Thank you, Sen. Oh, God damn it! How many times has she says thank you?
3 so far.
Oh. She gave me one last warm smile, and then Sen and Kimigiku were gone. Bye.
Bye, girls.
Goodbye. Once again, sleep refused to come. My mind worked furiously, turning over everything Sen had told me, examining it from every angle. I was a demon. Not only that, but I was the head of a pure-blooded demon clan that had been nearly destroyed, and my heritage was the reason Cosma had developed such an interest in me. Gosh.
By the gods.
I had decided to stay with the Shinsengumi, but was that really the best idea? Should I have left instead? I'd wanted to stay, of course, and I didn't really think leaving was a reasonable choice, but what if I'd made a mistake? It wasn't an easy question to answer. The relentless flow of thought had at last begun to subside when I heard noise erupt from outside.
Another sword fight?
Roars and shouts of battle, accompanied by the sound of steel against steel, echoed through the night. Shimada.
I'm sorry for bothering you so late, but this is an emergency.
There was someone just outside my door. Shimada-san? Yes? The word was barely out of my mouth when the door snapped open and Shimada stepped into my room. His eyes darted back and forth nervously and his body was tense. Has something happened? He nodded.
The demons have attacked us. Here!
What? I leapt for the door, but he threw out an arm to stop me, and his eyes met mine.
They're after you, which means you need to stay here.
But... I was the reason they'd come here. How could I justify sitting on my hands while others fought my battles for me? I didn't know what to do.
I feel like it's going outside because of Hijikata, but it also feels like staying inside your room.
Pick one.
I know it'd definitely be going outside if this was Kazuma's route.
Go outside.
Go outside, okay.
I have to go, Shimada-san.
I can't let you do that!
Those demons are here for me. What?
I almost read it, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, my brain was somewhere else. Those demons are here for me. If anyone gets hurt, maybe they'll listen to me. That's why they're here, right? What if I can convince them to leave peacefully? Please, I'm begging you. Let me go. Shimada-san's brow furrowed and his mouth drew into a tight line, but at last he sighed and shook his head.
Fine. I was told to protect you, though, so if you're going, then so am I.
Whee! We ran out of the house, and then I paused momentarily, unsure of where to go.
This what?
One moment, Shimada-san was there, and the next, he wasn't. He flew several yards through the air, then landed hard on the ground, slid another few feet, and lay still. Shimada-san! I froze.
Yes, where do you think you're going?
That cold, flat voice. Chikage Kazuma? In the same instant that I recognized his voice, I felt his arms snake around my neck, pulling me towards him.
What?
I struggled, but his grip was as immovable as steel. Let me go!
What sort of business do you have with false demons?
His voice was like a cold breath in my ear, and I could almost hear a sneer in his tone.
No matter how much you give to these humans, they will betray you. You've seen those abominations they've created, haven't you? What could you possibly hope to gain from them?
I was at a loss for words. The creation of the Furies was hardly something I approved of, but I wasn't part of the Shinsengumi. What right did I have to criticize their actions? Especially when the very concoction that allowed them to create their false demons had been created by my father.
Breaking into our headquarters, huh? Take some balls, that. But that fun is over now, pal. Hey, let her go.
Harada-san! Hijikata-san!
Sada.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I didn't hear that at all.
What?
I didn't hear that at all.
Oh, I'll do it again then.
I
Hijikata-san!
don't.
Eh?
I was gonna say I don't know though if Twitch picked it up because I have it muted.
Oh. I mean, I'll just do it again. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Hijikata-san! Harada-san! Behind them, I could see Yamazaki-san and several of the other Shinsengumi soldiers. Some men were missing, though. Had they been injured by the demons? Perhaps even killed?
You fools have no idea of her worth. She is most valuable when used by a fitting partner. If you're that into her, then just bring her flowers and stuff like a normal guy. This stuff is just creepy.
The Shinsengumi had surrounded Kazuma by now, but his grip on me hadn't wavered for even a moment.
She's worthless to you as a hostage. I have no intent of using her as such. She is my goal here, not a hostage. The rest of you are simply obstacles to overcome.
The ring of men around him began to draw in. I could feel the tension build like a rope being pulled taut. Soon it would reach its breaking point. What was I going to do?
Trust the Shinsengumi.
Nope.
Wait, try to escape?
Try to attack.
Ah.
Kazuma had a good hold on me from behind, but he hadn't bothered to restrain my arms. Perhaps he'd simply thought that there was nothing I could do, or that I wouldn't dare to attack him. Or perhaps he thought that even if I did, he'd have no difficulty dealing with my attacks. I wasn't foolish enough to think that I might actually beat him in a fight, but at least I could try and defend myself. I'd let the Shinsengumi deal with my problems on their own long enough.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. It's me.
Oh. Is you.
It's me. Yeah! I jerked my Kodachi out of its scabbard and swung it at him. Before I could even reach him, Kazuma's hand shot out to grab my sword arm, stopping me as surly as if I'd hit a wall. His hand slid to my wrist, and he twisted viciously. It was strong enough that I thought for a moment my bones would break. With a cry, my sword flew from my fingers.
Pointless. You thought you'd actually hit me? No, but I will. What?
My aborted attack had distracted Kazuma for only a split second, but that was all the time Hijikata-san needed. Within the space of a breath, he closed the distance between himself and my captor, the tip of his blade leaping towards Kazuma's throat.
Damn it.
Almost too quickly to see, he leaned out of the way. Hijikata-san's blade hissed through the air centimeters from his neck. The lesser man, a human, would have been dead, and so for a moment Kazuma's demon strength and reflexes were focused on the sword at his throat. That moment was enough time for me to break free. There you go.
Yeah.
I think in the remix, Kazuma just kind of like pushes her away. I felt a gentle, powerful arm curl around my body, catching and sheltering me at the same time. Hijikata-san?
Thought you were supposed to stay in your room. You're a real pain, kid.
I know. I'm sorry.
Still, you did good.
What?
Wouldn't have had that opening without you. Good work.
Praise from Hijikata-san was not something I was accustomed to. I opened my mouth to say I wasn't sure what when...
That girl is mine. I will not give her to a mere human.
Kazuma had recovered quickly from the attack, and his eyes smoldered with a cold fury.
I'm sorry, but I can't give her to you. The Shinsengumi's responsible for her now. We gave our word, so there's no turning back.
I felt his grip on me tighten as he spoke.
Chizuru, you know you're a demon, yes? Then come and join me.
No! I'll never join you! I'm staying here! No, please! Please leave!
You would choose a simple human then? Too bad, Kazuma. Looks like you got dumped.
I hadn't even noticed Shiranui appear, but behind him I could see the Fury Corps ready for battle. At their head was Sun.
There you are. The Fury Corps will be your opponent. This is an excellent choice for you to witness our tremendous strength. These men are fresh, ready to fight. What would you do?
Magiri, too, had betrayed no hint of his presence until he simply appeared.
So? They could have the whole army of these chumps and they wouldn't be a match for any of us. I say we take them apart.
His tongue flickered over his lips and his grin was almost hungry. I mean... Shiranui is a fucking chaos gremlin.
Yeah, he is. And he still deserves a route.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Do. Just show us how superior you are. This is a farce. We retreat.
With no further deliberation, they leapt over the wall to the street and were gone. The Shinsengumi did not pursue them. My body sagged with relief as the terrified energy of the last few minutes quickly ebbed away.
Alright. We won't be seeing them again tonight.
The warmth of his arm lingered for a few moments after he'd let go of me. Hijikata-san. Thank you.
And take a drink.
Drink.
I did drink.
I did drink too.
Okay.
We did our drinks.
Yes.
With an S.
Anyways. Hey, what's the status of the injured?
Oh. The moment he'd let go, he turned away to deal with his men. He hadn't even heard me. Jesus! His face was cold and hard, the face of the demon of the Shinsengumi. As the last of his warmth left me, I shivered in the cold night air. It seemed like morning came altogether too early. I sighed, splashed my face with cold water to clear my wits, and headed for the common room. The captains and several other men were already there, including Inoue-san and Yamazaki-san. Good morning. They nodded or mumbled return greetings, but their faces were universally dour after the night's events. I heard Inoue-san and Yamazaki-san mention Shimada's name, and edged over to listen in on their conversation.
How's he doing?
I just realized we haven't seen Yamazaki since, like, chapter 1.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my god.
My boy.
Yamazaki,
please.
No, wait, we saw him in chapter 3. No, wait, we did see him in chapter 2. Wow. That's...
Right.
Yeah.
We never actually fought each other. Isn't that weird, Black Man? Yes. Almost as weird as what's gonna happen if you call me that again.
Why that?
I don't know.
Why did that abridged moment pop into your head?
I'll never tell.
Oh, Jesus.
Alright, get that out of the way. The hit knocked him out, but aside from some bruises, he seems to be fine. He'll be back on duty soon. I know who they're talking about. The school janitor.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yamazaki in green just feels wrong now. It's just...
Okay, so what color should he be then?
I mean, in the remake, they made him blue. Like a light blue.
Yeah, I can see it.
I sighed with relief and felt some of the tension leave my neck. If Shimada-san had been seriously hurt guarding me...
Oh, Chizuru-chan. Shimada-san wanted to apologize to you for not doing a better job.
What? I'm the one who should be apologizing to him. I felt the conversation in the room ebb and turned to see Kondo-san walk through the door. He was usually calm and collected, but today his face was especially stern. Something was wrong, but what?
Uh-oh. What happened? You got a scary enough face to begin with, Kondo-san. Now you're just terrifying. Look, you're even scaring her.
No, I'm not scared. I waved my hands desperately, and the man laughed.
Sorry about that.
He gave me a tight grin, but then looked down, his face grim. That rhymed?
Grim.
Please, just tell us what happened. Is it bad?
Well, you'll find out soon enough, I suppose.
He wasn't just talking to me anymore. The rest of the men moved closer to hear what he had to say.
Nishi Hongwanji doesn't want the Shinsengumi here anymore. They're telling us to leave, you mean? Well, they didn't say that in so many words, but yes. I had a feeling this day would come eventually, but now that it's here, what should we do?
The monks at the Nishihonwanji temple were imperialists and allies of the Choshu. They'd never been fond of the Shinsengumi, but we decided to force our way into their temple anyway. It was no surprise they wanted us out, but I'd finally begun to feel like the temple was my home. On a more practical level as well, it was far more convenient for our work in Kyo. I was sure I wasn't the only one who felt that way.
Still, this is awfully sudden. Do you think that last night's incident triggered this? I don't have to think. I know. They don't want fighting on the temple grounds. I'm sure someone else had a hand in this too. Choshu, maybe? Or Satsuma?
The fight the night before had only happened because of me. I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
Not true. We came to this temple and forced them to yield to our admittedly unreasonable demands. But what are we gonna do? If we have to move, then we need to start looking for a new location. Actually, we don't. We'll be provided a new suite. Oh no, it's a new site. We'll be provided with a new site, courtesy of the Nishi Hongwanji Temple. That's awfully generous. They really must want us gone. Yes, on both accounts, which is why I decided to accept their offer. Things are going to get busy around here soon.
A plot of land was purchased and a new compound built, all paid for by the Nishihonwanji Temple. It became the third headquarters of the Shinsengumi, the Fudodo village location. Headquarters. The third Shinsengumi compound was located in the village of Fudodo. By the time summer came, the Shinsengumi had left Nishihonwanji, where they'd spent more than 2 years.
November 1867.
Whoosh. A gust of wind stripped some of the last stubborn leaves from the trees and sent them skittering across the Kyoto street. It was cold and bit into me through my clothes. I shivered. It's almost winter, isn't it? I'm not ready for this part.
No. Yeah. The wind's gotten pretty cold lately. Still, we don't have anything too bad. We don't have it too bad during the day. Can only imagine how cold it gets for the night, guys.
It was November and the temperature was definitely dropping, although it had yet to get cold enough for us to see our breath during patrol.
Are your hands cold? Would you like me to hold them?
I'm not that cold. I'll be fine.
Shut up, woman. Give me those hands.
Oh! I noticed someone walking towards us.
Hey, Chizuru-chan! Sano, what do you think you're doing? You're supposed to be working, not screwing off and hitting on poor defenseless girls on the street. Hey, not everyone's a gigolo like you. Oh, it's a gigolo. Not everyone's a gigolo like you. She's looked cold. I was just trying to be a gentleman. Oh.
Hello, Nagakura-san.
What's up?
Nagakura-san's patrol took him on a different route than ours. It was only luck that we'd happened to meet in one of the few places they overlapped. Their bickering might have looked odd to a passerby, but I knew it for the sign of deep friendship that it was.
What's up? Why are you grinning like that? Probably thinks your face is funny, Senpachi. You really ought to do something about that thing.
No, it's just, well, I was just remembering when we met up like this before. Like the time I met Kaoru. I was with Okita-san and Heisuke then, though. Oh. More than 6 months had passed since Saito-san and Heisuke had left to join the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb. Harada-san and Senpachi? That's not correct! Harada and Nagakura-san's faces turned grim as I trailed off. That's not correct. Wow, that's...
Senpachi?
Yeah, Chizuru doesn't say Shinpachi.
She normally says Nagakura-san.
Yeah. I shook my head, hoping vainly to cast off unpleasant thoughts. I mean, there's been so much going on lately. It makes me nostalgic.
The Shinsengumi has changed. Hell, so has the rest of the world.
Like the shogunate handing power over to the imperial court. Nagakura-san nodded as I spoke, with the air of a pleased teacher encouraging a student.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Huh. Now, do you know how the loss of Ito and his followers affected the Shinsengumi?
Well, we have fewer members now.
You're half right. You're half right. True, we have lost some of our men. Those who were staunch imperialists were the first to leave. That meant most of the guys who stayed were loyalists. Not all of them, though.
Yep.
How dare you? Yeah. You remember when Kondo-san got promoted to direct service to the Shogun? And we all became Shogunate vassals? Not everybody was happy about that.
Including you two?
Yeah, including us too.
That was right around the time we moved to Fudoto Village. Several men had wanted to leave. Some of them had been given permission to go, but others were told that wasn't an option and were forced into the Fury Corps. Kondo-san's promotion had changed the Shinsengumi's relationship with the Shogun, where before we had only been philosophically aligned with the Shogun. Did I say that right?
Philosophically, yeah.
Yay! Now we answer directly to him. For some people, that was a serious problem. How do you guys feel about being vassals of the Shogun?
Now it was my turn for a yawn. I'm not really a fan. Yeah, I didn't do all this work just so I could be a retainer for the Shogun.
Neither of them was very happy with it. Then Nagakura-san... Nagakura-san especially. We kept walking for a few blocks, talking about this and that before Harada-san yawned quietly.
Your droning is putting me to sleep, Senpachi. You could tell him to shut up too if he's boring you, you know.
Hold up. I have never, ever seen this spread of Harada before. I have never seen this. What the... Oh no, I'm fine. I like listening to Nagakura-san talk about things.
Hang on. You see Sano? She's a good girl, unlike you. Now, shall we continue? What do you know about the Meiji Emperor's ascension 2 months ago? And the restoration of imperial rule last month? Oh, it's the Meiji Restoration.
Meiji Emperor, not yet though. Meiji Emperor ascended to the throne in 1867 after the death of Emperor Komei. Restoration of imperial rule, the political event in which the shogun, Yoshinobu Tokugawa, returned all sovereign powers to the Meiji Emperor. Well, the restoration was when the Tokugawa shogunate returned power over the government to the emperor, right? I don't really know much about it.
Well, you know enough. That's pretty much it. A man named Ryoma Sakamoto from the Tosa domain was the one who figured out a way for the emperor to regain power without destroying the shogunate.
Ah, Ryoma. Too bad you're not here. Ryoma Sakamoto.
I hear Lobster Lord right now going, what?
Ryoma Sakamoto, a Ronin from Tosa who negotiated the alliance between Satsuma and Choshu for the purpose of overthrowing the Tokugawa shogunate. He played a crucial part in restoring imperial rule. Unfortunately, Nagakura-san continued. In doing so, he managed to anger both the loyalist and imperialist factions, and earned the enmity of both.
At any rate, Restoration means that the Tokugawa has lost all real authority. At least, that's the official story. In reality, he's keeping a lot of his power. The government just can't function without someone to hold the reins. The Satsuma are up to something too, but we don't know what. Still, this world's not gonna change overnight.
I see. As I looked around the city, it seemed like he had a point. Nothing much seemed to have changed. Inns were still bustling with travelers, tea shops were still smelling delicious. Life continued just as it always had, regardless of what the shogun was or wasn't doing. The city might look the same as it always had, but time flowed on, regardless, and a great wave was coming that would carry all of us away. I looked up at Nagakura-san, and something occurred to me that I hadn't thought about before. Before I realized what I was doing, I'd already opened my mouth. I didn't realize you were so smart, Nagakura-san. You know a lot about politics.
Hanada's just like, oh my fucking god. Didn't realize? Wait. Just what did you think of me?
Nagakura there looks like he's about to cry, and in the remake he's actually pissed, like I think he should be. There was a man named Ryoma Sakamoto. I'm not ready for this. He was a ronin from the Tosa domain and had allied himself with the Satsuma and Choshu domains as well. For a time, the Kyo Judiciary Commissioner, Mimi Warigumi, and even the Shinsengumi were desperate to find him. Mima Warigumi. Oh, it's spelled incorrectly.
Mima Warigumi.
Yeah, look. Mimi Warigumi. Mima Warigumi. Which one is...
Which one is correct, though?
I think it's Mima Warigumi.
Is it A or I?
No, it's A. It's A. It's Mima Warigumi. It's Mima Warigumi, yeah. A civilian police force similar to the Shinsengumi. The Mima Warigumi was instead composed of the sons of shogunate vassals, and was therefore somewhat higher ranking. They were charged with protecting the imperial estate and the Nijo castle area in Kyo. After his orchestration of the restoration of imperial rule, however, orders were passed down to leave him alone. I only had a general idea of who he was and what he'd done, but even I had figured out that he was an important person, so when I heard Inoue-san mention him, I listened.
Ryoma Sakamoto has been assassinated. You serious, Jen?
Gen.
Are you serious, Gen? Do they know who did it? Sakamoto had a lot of enemies. Could have been imperialist or loyalist. Hell, it could have just been personal, in which case, my money's on Miyu or Akeishu.
Don't worry, I have trouble saying Mira, too. Kishu, also known as the Ki domain or the Wakayama domain. It was one of the three main branches of the Tokugawa clan. Mira.
I'm looking at my Raichu like, buddy, you're not one of those guys, are ya?
Eh?
Because his name is Ki.
Oh my...
God
damn it!
You think maybe they're looking for us? Damn. The bastard was gonna get killed the way I should have done him in.
Fuck you, Okuta.
That's not very funny coming from you. In fact, weren't we specifically told to leave him alone?
I'd never met Sakamoto. I barely knew who he was. But I felt somehow that his death would shake the country to its core. Inoue-san frowned.
As you all know, there was a decision made far above us, and Kondo was ordered to leave Ryoma Sakamoto alone. Unfortunately, the rest of the country is likely to see it as that way. A scabbard belonging to a member of the Shinsengumi was found at the scene of his death. There has been a request for an official inquiry.
A scabbard? Is that really enough evidence?
If it isn't, I'm sure they'll just fabricate more. And obviously it's a ruse. Who are they saying did it anyway? Actually, they say it was yours, Harada-san.
What? Of all the people to try and frame for murder, Harada-san?
Really, Sano? Damn, wish you would have brought me with you. Knock it off, Okita. Besides, my scabbard's right here. This is idiotic.
He threw up his hands in exasperation. Inoue-san smiled faintly and nodded.
I don't suspect you, and neither does anyone else here. Unfortunately, I doubt the rest of the nation will extend you the same courtesy. I imagine they're having trouble determining the real culprit. There was talk that Kitsuyara Miura from Kishu asked the Shinsengumi to kill Ryoma.
Kyotaro Miura, a loyalist from the Kishu domain. He is not on good terms with Ryoma Sakamoto. Miura. That was the man Nagakura-san had mentioned. He had some sort of personal quarrel with Sakamoto, which made him a suspect.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who'd love to pin that one on the Shinsengumi, but unless someone did it and lied about it, there's no way it was us. Unless Sana decided to do a little work off the books. Shut the fuck up, Okita!
Fuck you, Okita.
God!
The room fell silent.
How is Sana these days? Our reputation is grisly enough, but rumors I've heard about the night patrol are getting even worse.
It was true that Sana-san had been acting stranger and stranger. Although I didn't want to believe it, I had to admit it wasn't that difficult to imagine him doing something like that. When I passed him on occasion in the hallways, his eyes were dry and thirsty, as if he was always hungry for blood.
We'll have to be careful then. We can't let people learn about the Furies. About that. Oh, hey, Kondo. Hijikata. Whoa. Saito? What are you doing here?
I rubbed vigorously at my eyes, looked, and then did it again. But there was no doubt the man who'd followed Kondo-san and Hijikata-san into the room was the man who left to join the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb, Saito-san himself.
Oh, hello, Saito-san. It's been a while. What happened to the guard?
What are you talking about, Inoue-san? There's no way Hijikata-san would allow anyone from the guard here. We're prohibited from even talking to them.
Just shut up, alright? Starting today, Saito's back in with the Shinsengumi.
Hajime Saito left the guard and returned to the Shinsengumi. He had joined the guard under orders of Hijikata-san in order to observe Ito-san. What?
What? Hold on a second there, Hijikata. We're glad that he's back, but don't get me wrong, but what happened with the guard? And Ito-san?
It was Saito-san who answered.
You're mistaken, but understandably. I was never one of Ito-san's supporters. In fact, Saito-san joined Ito-san and his men as a spy, under Toshi's direct orders.
And with that, everything suddenly made sense. They say that to fool your enemy, you must first fool your allies, and Saito-san had been doing just that.
What? Come on, Saito. It's not fair for you to go off and have all the fun. Wait, Saito-kun?
Eh?
Well, come on, Saito-kun. It's not fair for you to go off and have all the fun without letting me in on it. Man, you just about scared the pants off me. Not cool, Kondo. Kondo-san, this was all top secret. I'm sorry I had to keep it all from you.
It was a surprise to be sure, but I was glad that we'd have Saito-san back with us.
Yeah!
Yeah! He cut you out.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that little children like, yay!
Yay!
And it cut you out too.
Yay!
There we go.
I literally did this. I think I did the same thing twice.
Eh.
Meh. I gave him a tentative smile, but he only sighed and shook his head.
It was too early to feel relieved. The last 6 months with the guard have made it clear. Ito-san and his followers are going to take action against the Shinsengumi. What sort of action? Ito-san is going to expose the Fury Court to discredit the shogunate. There's even talk that he's working with the Satsuma to that end.
If the existence and creation of the monstrous furies was to become public knowledge, the shogunate's reputation would be irreparably damaged, and the Shinsengumi would undoubtedly suffer as well. Even I could predict that.
There's more. Ito-san plans to assassinate the chief of the Shinsengumi.
You mean Kondo-san? Kondo-san's face was stern and tense, but he kept silent. He glanced over at Hijikata-san.
The guard is moving to destroy the Shinsengumi. You've already heard about Sakamoto-san, right? Yeah, some crap about me being the killer. Right. Well, you have the guardians of the Imperial Tomb to thank. They've been spreading the rumor that Kiyotaro Miura of the Kishu hired the Shinsengumi, and that Harada's put the sword to him.
Hijikata-san explained that Miura insisted that he didn't do it, but is sure that someone's going to take a stab at him eventually.
So, Saito's going to be guarding Miura for now. If it looks like he just left and came back, it won't be hard for Ito to put 2 and 2 together. I understand. Until this matter is settled, then it is best that I am not seen here.
Here, Hijikata-san paused for a moment. The room was utterly silent. Every one of us could sense that what came next would be very, very important.
Hashitaro Ito. It's not enough for you to expose the Fury Core. You have to try and kill Kondo-san for it too.
He spoke quietly, almost to himself, as if sharing a final moment with a former comrade. Then he looked up, and when he spoke, his voice was like cold steel, the voice of the demon.
It's too bad it has to be this way, but we don't have a choice. Ito dies. I suppose you're right. It can't be helped.
Kono-san nodded, and that was that. The Shinsengumi would kill Kashitaro Ito.
First, we'll invite Ito to Kondo-san's second home. I will be present there as well. Once he's dead, we can move Ito's corpse to lure out the rest of the guard and kill them. Nagakura, Harada, I am assigning you and your divisions to this. Take care of it. Hey, Hijikata-san. Who do you want me to kill? No one. I want you to stay here in bed. You still got that cough, don't you? You're sick. Saito will be here for a few days, so you'll have someone to play with. You're a real bastard, Hijikata-san.
It all seemed very calculated for murder.
This isn't a murder. This is an assassination.
I hadn't realized I'd been sitting still, dumbfounded, until I felt a gentle tap on my shoulder.
Boop.
Saito-san?
This is going to be the end of the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb. If we're going to return Heisuke to the fold, it must be now or never.
He was right. He was right. If they meant to kill the guard, that included Heisuke. Hijikata-san, what are you going to do with Heisuke? He's part of the guard now.
She does call him Heisuke-kun.
Oh yeah. I'm saying Heisuke though.
Isn't that obvious? We're gonna save him, of course. No. He fights us, he dies.
What? No, you can't mean that. That's wrong. Hijikata-san showed no signs that he'd even heard me.
Silence, woman.
I watched his back appear out the door. You're actually going to order them to kill Heisuke? Do you care what happens to him?
Of course we care. I know that deep down, Toshi wants to save him too. I'll talk to him later.
The last few words he mumbled to himself, and then coughed nervously, as if embarrassed that he'd raised his voice. It was only then that I realized how much Kondo-san was suffering. How much they were all suffering. Even Hijikata-san. I'm sorry for saying that.
No need to apologize. It actually makes me quite happy, honestly. I'm glad that people here care for Heisuke.
Aww. Kondo-san let out a slow breath, then looked up at me and smiled. He turned to Nagakura-san and Harada-san and spoke in a low voice.
I'm asking you this not as your commander or your chief, but as Isami Kondo. Let Heisuke live. And, if you can, try to convince him to come back. Got it. Leave it to us, Chief.
As they discussed the details of their orders, I sat and wondered what I should do. What could I do?
I trust everything's clear. If you have any questions, now is the time.
Wait. I heard myself begin to speak, my voice surprisingly calm and dignified.
Yes, Yukimura-kun?
I haven't been given any orders. I would like to help.
This is a dirty job, Yukimura-kun. You really shouldn't be involved in this.
It was true. This wasn't a patrol or even a guarding mission. This was the assassination of a former comrade and an attack on men who'd split from the Shinsengumi. I
still wanted to help.
Still wanted to help. Still, I wanted to do what I could. It might be my last chance to see Heisuke.
You know what? On second thought, Yukimura-kun, there is something that you could do to help us. Drink water.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Ah,
Please let me go. I won't get in the way.
ah, this isn't anything like you've done before, Chizuru-chan. You understand that, right? We're killing someone who used to be one of us. Much as we don't want to. We might even have to kill Heisuke.
I know. It's not something to be taken lightly. I knew that the Shinsengumi had carried out these sorts of black operations before. There was no way I could have stayed with them as long as I had and not known, but that was why I couldn't simply stand by and let them shoulder all the responsibility. I'd spent enough time looking away until the deed was done. No more. Perhaps it's presumptuous of me to say so, but I consider myself a member of the Shinsengumi.
Then you are determined to do this, I see.
His face had lost its usual warmth. It wasn't anger or cruelty that it showed now, but the gravity of a general addressing his men.
Tell me then, how do you intend to help?
I had already decided I would.
Oh, help with Ito, I think?
Help with Ito. I would help lure Ito-san into the trap the Shinsengumi had planned for him. He was quite cautious at first, but after some prompting to talk about issues he was familiar with and the liberal application of alcohol, he loosened up significantly. His high spirits involved an almost sickening contrast to the fate that awaited him.
Nationalism is a very nearly taboo term these days, you know.
I can't tell if at this point he's still drunk or not.
I'm slurring it, so...
His laughter echoed hollowly through my skull, and his smile, I could already see the rictus grin of a corpse. Ugh.
Ugh.
We were entertaining Ito-san at Kondo-san's second home, and all night the alcohol had flown easily. Okay, he's probably drunk.
Ah, yeah, see, I told you. And even the Satsuma and Chosu have finally realized that they cannot rival foreign technology and influence, and have begun to adopt outside culture.
God damn it.
I see. Such as? Let me think here. Oh, for example, firearms. They've managed to import a great many deal of guns and have been training with their men in the Western welfare tactics.
Tactics didn't even get through. He nodded sagely and gestured somewhat awkwardly with his cup. Kondo-san nodded solemnly in agreement.
Interesting. Maybe we should start learning about training the Shinsengumi in Western tactics. Oh yes, you agree. You must be able to see the big picture these days. Yeah. We might be on different paths, but we're all headed for the same destination. Would you care for another drink, Ito-san?
Here you are. It was perfectly normal alcohol, no poison or drugs. But we were making him drunk in order to murder him. How was it any different than me pouring poison straight into his cup?
Because... Hold on. There's a quirky green-haired girl with freckles on her face that could answer that question.
Yeah, I was about to say, alcohol is poison.
My goodness, dear, you're shaking. Are you okay? Are you feeling ill? You don't have to worry about her, Ito-san. She's just nervous about speaking to you. Oh my, am I so terribly intriguing? Oh, what a bad girl you are.
Ah! It still feels so weird.
Why would you say it feels weird?
Shush.
I mean, after all, I feel pretty good right now.
Ah. The drunken incident. I'm calling it now.
It works, doesn't it? Yeah, she gives herself away too easily. The kid here needs a little self-control.
Shut up, Hijikata.
Why?
He makes
Why?
it worse.
You're making it worse. Don't make me call you Soji.
He's so worse. The subtle message was clear. Hide your emotions, Chizuru.
Yeah, Chizuru.
I swallowed and nodded. It had been my choice to help with Ito-san's assassination. The least I could do now was not get in the way. I'm sorry.
Oh, rubbish. Then you're a party. We needn't be so stiff. Haha, Ito-san, you are truly a man worthy of distinction.
Time passed, and alcohol was drunk.
Oh, I'm not so thick as you drunk I am. Oh, it was nice to enjoy a meaningful conversation. And so now, I'm going to bid you farewell. I admit that was a lot of fun to do that.
After spending all night expounding on his theory for the advancement of Japanese society, Ito-san finally stumbled off into the darkness, more than a little drunk. I watched him disappear. It would be the last time I would see him alive.
This feels wrong, Toshi. It's the path we chose. It is our duty to do this, but that doesn't mean we have to be proud of it. Sometimes the jobs are dirty.
I...
Look, Chief, this one's not on your head, alright? I made the plan. I gave the orders.
Ichikata-san let out a long sigh, his eyes staring off into the darkness where Ito-san had gone. What happened afterwards was not something I care to remember. Ito-san, too drunk to fight back, was quickly and easily killed by the men waiting for him. But the night was far from over. Battle and bloodshed waited at Aburano Koji for Nagakura-san and the men sent to ambush the guardians of the Imperial Tomb. Fate waited for Okita-san, convalescing at the headquarters in Fudodo village. For them, for all of us, waited a night after which nothing would be the same. The assassination of Ito-san and the destruction of the Guardians of the Imperial Tomb was later known as the Aburano Koji incident, which does not have a page on Wikipedia, by the way. Kashitaro Ito, upon hearing of his plans to assassinate Kondo-san, and with the ever-looming threat that he might reveal the existence of the Furies, the Shinsengumi had no choice but to kill him. Aburano Koji incident. An internal dispute among the Shinsengumi that resulted in the deaths of Ito-san and several of his men. Both the Shinsengumi and the guard were surprised by the sudden appearance of Satsuma troops and by the demons who accompanied them. Both parties had fallen for the Satsuma trap, and the battlefield was thrown into confusion.
Ruh-roh.
During the fight, Hesuke was mortally wounded and had no choice but to drink the water of life and become a fury or die. As the Battle of Aburanokoji was taking place, the headquarters of the Shinsengumi came under attack from Chikage Kazuma. The monstrous thing my father had made was slowly devouring the Shinsengumi. How long before the water of life swallowed them whole?
Before the century's end. December 1867.
Oh god, do we keep going?
Spin the wheel.
Oh god, the wheel. The wheel is coming.
Yeah.
The wheel is almost here. The wheel will be spun. Also, I forgot how did we spin the wheel for what was after Haruka SSL's drawing?
I don't think so.
I'll figure that out later. But for now, let's see. Do we continue or end stream?
Alright, give me a second.
Blop, blop, blop. Ba, ba, ba.
Okay, there. And best of 3.
Let's go.
First up, we have Keep Going.
No good.
Round 2. It's not the same one, but it's Keep Going.
What?
I have 5 different instances of both,
Oh.
so it's a total of 10. Hey, there's the first end stream. This might be it.
Mm. Mm.
And we're gonna keep her going.
Oh god. So we're going on.
At least until the top of the hour, I think.
I say we go until this chapter ends, because this is the 4th part of chapter 3. In that case. Scarcely a month had passed since Aburanokoji. Saito-san and Heisuke had returned, but the Shinsengumi was hardly back to normal. A dark, tense atmosphere pervaded the compound. Many men had lost their lives in Kazuma's attacks. Even more had been injured during the attack at Aburanokoji. Among them was Heisuke. Several of the rank-and-file soldiers had seen him mortally wounded. He had looked as if he would not survive. For that reason, Heisuke was declared officially dead and made a member of the Fury Corps. Heisuke Todo. He survived the Aburanokoji incident by becoming a Fury and rejoined the Shinsengumi. The official records, however, showed him as deceased. Saito-san had been wounded, but many among the common soldiers began to call him a coward. To them, he had left the Shinsengumi to join Ito-san, then betrayed his new master when he sensed a change in fortunes. I saw no reason why he shouldn't set them straight, and say that he had never truly left the Shinsengumi, but he claimed he would rather stay silent than tarnish the honor of the commander and the chief who had ordered his actions. As such, it was decided that Saito-san would leave the compound until tempers had been allowed to cool. He was sent to stay at Tenma in order to protect Kyotaro Miura, an official of the Kishu domain. The night of the Battle of Aburanokoji was a turning point for the Shinsengumi. For the men who didn't know the details, it was simply a battle against their former comrades, the guardians of the Imperial Tomb. Those better informed knew that the situation with the Satsuma and Choshu domains had changed, and that the assassination of Ryoma Sakamoto had been part of a much larger plan. Only the heads of the Shinsengumi knew the whole story, the activities of the demons, and Heisuke's transformation into a fury. Such an important battle had stirred up the atmosphere in the compound, and for several days, there were excited men everywhere, shouting and talking. Moments of silence were far and few between. I felt I would only be in the way if I was wandering around the grounds, so I did my best to stay in my room by myself. When had everything gone so wrong? Why had all of this happened? I turned those questions over and over in my mind, but found no answers.
Ah, thank goodness you're here. If you'd gone out, I would have been able to look for you.
Sana-san? But it's daytime. Are you sure you're alright?
I'm fine, yes, yes. I just had a revelation. I can't possibly stay in bed.
His eyes glittered with something, and even though he was smiling, I could feel the fingers of dread beginning to poke at the base of my spine.
Well, will you listen to my idea?
It didn't really seem like a question, but I nodded anyway.
Ah, you're a demon.
The words were sudden and unexpected.
And as a demon, you are stronger, faster, and more resilient than a normal human. Demonic superiority was displayed quite clearly by those demons who attacked us just the other night.
What are you trying to say?
A demon possesses immense power. It follows that the blood of which flows through the demon's veins should be similarly powerful. Perhaps it is even potent enough to completely counteract the madness of the Furies.
I didn't know how the water of life worked, but Sun-Sun's explanation seemed logical, even if it was a bit manic. How can you know that for sure?
Since before I became a Fury, I have been researching how the water of life works. I know more about it than anyone else here. How could I be wrong then? In any event, I believe that it is worth testing. If I am correct, oh, it would be wonderful.
You goddamn snake!
Okay, now I hear sirens. What the fuck?
What the fuck? So silent over here.
Your very existence could save the Fury Core. No, the entire Shinsengumi.
Wait. Sun-Sun's eyes had grown painfully sharp, and I almost thought I could hear the barest edge of madness to his voice.
Now,
Calmly and purposefully, he drew his sword from its scabbard. There was no madness or bloodlust to his movements, and that only made them all the more terrifying.
oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm not going to kill you or anything. I just want a small sample of your blood. That's all.
I took a step back to... That's the weirdest sentence I've seen.
I took a step back. 2 steps back.
I guess. Sun-Sun and his sword came closer. He lifted it, and the steel blade shimmered in the light. I closed my eyes.
What is this, Sanan? Oh, Hijikata, excellent timing. Please, give me a hand here.
Hijikata-san! Hijikata-san walked slowly towards us, his hand drifting near the hilt of his sword. With calm purpose, he stepped between Sun-Sun and I.
What are you doing? This could be a great breakthrough for the Shinsengumi. This is the last time, Sanan. What are you doing? I'm searching for a way to treat the madness of the Furies, for the good of the Shinsengumi. And that means you have to cut her? I'm not going to kill her if that's what you're worried about. All I need is a little bit of her blood.
The room was thick with tension, but I sensed no hatred from either Sanan-san or Hijikata-san.
Mostly just annoyance on Hijikata.
Mm.
We've lost so many of the Furies. Many of our human soldiers have fallen as well. If we are to effectively utilize the Furies we have left, as well as the ones we are about to create, then we must find a way to temper their madness. If we abandon the Furies and what they offer, then future battles will only become more difficult. Most of our men will die. Everything I do for the Shinsengumi. I know you are an intelligent man, Hijikata-san. Surely you understand. And yet you won't allow Yukimura-kun to share her blood? That's not what I mean. Oh? Sanan, you are a colonel of the Shinsengumi. Are you really ready to break the code?
The code. Shinsengumi regulations that were to be strictly obeyed.
The code says we don't fight each other for any reason. You haven't forgotten, have you? Oh, of course. However, Yukimura-kun is not technically part of the Shinsengumi. Maybe not, but she's been here long enough. She might as well be. Then I have no choice.
With that, Sana-san sheathed his sword. Hijikata-san watched him closely, his own hand still near his sword.
I'll leave for now, but please consider what I have said. Sure, but it won't change anything. Why should we cut her open and take her blood? Besides, even if I did change my mind, Kono-san will never let you do it. It is an easy decision for you and Kono-san to make. You don't have the same investment in this. Heisuke's a Fury now too, though. This will affect him as well. So I encourage you to consider what's best for your friends when you make your decision.
Those final words cut like a knife, deeper than anything he'd said before.
You goddamn snake!
And I say something.
Hijikata-san's voice was strained, as if he were pulling it up from somewhere deep within his soul.
Of course. Your reasoning is correct. It always has been. But, Sanan, tell me you aren't doing this because the bloodlust has taken your mind. Tell me that some sick desire to taste your blood isn't what's driving you to do this. Can I trust you? Of course. My only concern is for the Shinsengumi. Goodbye, Yukimura-kun. We shall talk again.
He smiled and ducked out of the room. Only after I heard his footsteps fade away down the hall did I begin to breathe again.
You okay?
I saw him relax, almost imperceptibly, yay, as he turned to look at me. The bowstring-tight tension of a moment before was gone. Or at least mostly gone.
Sorry about that.
No, thank you for helping me.
And take a shot, everybody.
Water.
Cherry flavored.
I just got plain water.
No, nothing to thank me for.
But There was something I wanted to say to him, a question that had been on my mind for a while. For a moment, I thought perhaps now was the time to ask, but... No, I shut my mouth.
What?
Perhaps I was simply afraid of what his answer would be. Perhaps after hearing my question, he would no longer allow me to stay with the Shinsengumi. No, I couldn't stay with him forever. Nothing good would come of avoiding the issue. Best I simply face it. Still, I was afraid to ask.
I don't have all day. If you have something to say, then say it.
I'd already drawn his attention and apparently his ire. There was no point in backing out now. Why do you keep protecting me like this?
Weren't you listening? That wasn't about you. It was about San and the code. Besides, it's not like he was actually trying to kill you. At worst, I saved you a scratch.
No, I don't mean...
Oh.
No, I don't mean just now. I mean all the other times. When Kazuma attacked us, everyone in the Shinsengumi put their lives on the line for me. All he wanted was me. You could have just given me up, and he would have left you alone.
Kazuma works for our enemies, so that makes him our enemy. What sort of warrior doesn't fight his enemies?
I had to admit, that did seem reasonable.
Besides, you're Kodo's kid. If we want to find him, we'll need you. Didn't we talk about this when you first got here?
Yes, but that was a long time ago. Things have changed. I don't think finding my father is going to be enough to resolve this situation anyway.
Look, we said we'd protect you, so we will. A samurai doesn't go back on his word. A man who breaks a promise just because something's changed isn't a man.
Even I knew that he was only using my father as an excuse, but I had a feeling that if I pointed that out directly, he'd get angry. Still, that he would make excuses like this and let me stay and keep me safe. It could only mean that Hijikata-san and the Shinsengumi had finally accepted me. Now give her the damn Haori!
I'm waiting for Hero Force to come out with those.
That thought was like a ray of light, pushing away the doubt I'd only felt only moments before. But I needed to be careful not to get carried away.
Alright, why'd you go quiet?
If they had accepted me, then I wanted to help. I wanted to do something. Then again, what could I possibly do? I couldn't fight. I didn't have any special knowledge, aside from a little secondhand medicine. I was more of a burden than an asset, if I was honest with myself. What was I going to do?
I want to help?
I want to help.
Yeah. What? Is there something else?
I want to help. Please, if there's anything at all that I can do.
Oh, that's much better. Help?
Oh no, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. He didn't look very happy. Because, was he really mad? I was starting to very much regret speaking up. So much so that I began to wish Sana-san would come back, just to give Hijikata-san someone else to glare at.
Oh, that's funny. I'm sorry, but that's funny.
No, that would have been a bad idea, too. But what was I going to do? Give up? No, I'd come too far. If I backed down, then nothing would change. I couldn't be one of them if I just let them protect me all the time. Please, I just want to be useful. I'll do anything. Uh... The silence stretched out so long I thought I was going to scream.
I suppose you could be more discreet than one of our boys.
He spoke to himself, barely loud enough for me to hear.
I suppose you could be more.
Hijikata-san?
Brush and paper.
Huh?
Bring me a brush and some paper. You do have that in here, don't you? Hurry.
Yes, right away. I scrambled across the room, grabbed a brush and paper, and handed them to Hijikata-san. He took them silently, still scowling, and quickly began to draw. A map? What is that? He ignored me and continued drawing.
You know Saito is that Tenma guarding Mira, right? I want you to take something to him. Will you do that?
Do you think I can?
Yes. One of our men would stand out way too much. You're our best option that we've got right now. Can I trust you with this?
Yes, of course, sir. I was thrilled. I was thrilled to help, of course, but I was even more ecstatic to be given a task specifically suited to me.
There. I drew you a map. Keep to this, and you shouldn't get lost.
Right, thank you. The map was pretty straightforward, but I still barely knew my way around Kyo. Without it, I would likely have gotten lost. Alright, I'm going. I turned to leave, and only a concerted effort kept me from skipping towards the door.
Hold on, genius. It's hard to deliver a message if you don't have one.
Oh.
You're making me nervous, kid. You sure you can do this?
Yes, of course. I'll do a great job.
Here. A letter for Saito. Make sure that you don't drop it or lose it somehow.
I'll be very careful. Is there anything you want me to tell him?
Everything I have to say is in that letter.
Understood. Then I'm off. This time I wasn't able to fully subdue the urge to skip.
And there she goes. Hey, Yamazaki, Shimbata. Yes, sir? Did you... Oh, that was... Yes, sir? Did you call? I sent Chizuru to take a letter to Saito. Keep an eye on her, but don't let her see you. If anything happens, make sure she's okay.
Ah, so this is where that came from. For
Ah!
Yamazaki, okay.
Understood. Hopefully, if something does happen, it'll just be some idiots trying to get to Mira or something. There's some pretty dangerous guys after her, though. If the demons do show up, just get her back here immediately. I don't care if you have to carry her like a sack of rice. Just make sure that all three of you come back.
That's an image.
If only we had a sack of potatoes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir. We're off. Yeah? Well, then get going.
I stuffed the letter into my shirt, double-checked to make sure it wouldn't fall out, and then opened up the map. This is my chance. I have to do a good job. According to this map, it looks like I have a ways to go. I'd better hurry or it's going to be evening by the time I get there. Blah, blah, blah. I should run. Even without the desire to arrive before evening, I likely would have run anyway. I was far too excited to walk. Thanks to Hijikata-san's map, I found my way to Tenma without incident, although evening had come by the time I arrived. I had been told earlier that Saito-san had taken a room under the name Yamaguchi. After a short wait, the recipients directed me to his room. That's not how that went in the remake. He came outside. Yamaguchi, the alias used by Hajime Saito while guarding Miura during the Tenma incident, which I think is...
Happening now.
Eh?
Happening now, right?
What?
The incident?
No.
Okay.
No, I was going to say that Yamaguchi is one of Saito's names. Just not the one he uses often. Yamaguchi, sorry to bother you.
Hmm. Oh, you.
One of his eyebrows shifted up fractionally
Yeah.
in response to my presence. Although he'd likely been expecting the letter, I was somewhat less predictable, having only been assigned the task earlier that day. I am sorry you got someone as inexperienced as me.
No, you misunderstand. I was only surprised. I was expected to receive new orders soon, but I didn't think you'd be the one to deliver them.
Right. Well, I asked if there was anything I could do to help, and this was it.
Well, I could see it's thinking. It's a good plan. One of our regulars would have drawn unique attention to this location. Drawn undue attention to this location. The captains are too recognizable and too valuable. New members might not be noticed, but how can we know where their true loyalties lie? You, on the other hand, can move unnoticed, and your loyalty is beyond question. Hijikata-san made an excellent choice.
Oh, thank you. Oh, God.
Right.
Drink! There was something very pleasant about being told I was trustworthy.
The letter?
Oh, of course! I pulled out the letter and handed it over. He tore it open and read it over quickly, then lit it on a nearby lantern and watched patiently until it was nothing more than ash. Saito-san?
Yamaguchi.
Are you sure it was okay to burn it?
It's best that way. I've read it and I know what it says. So why should I leave it to intact to be intercepted?
Oh, of course.
Thank you for delivering this letter. Good work.
Oh, well, I'm just doing my job. No need for thanks. I certainly hadn't done anything very impressive. Anyone could have done it, but it did feel nice to be thanked. After all, I had done just what was asked of me, and I hadn't messed anything up. I was rather proud of myself. Now that the job was done, though, I wasn't quite sure what I should do next.
Return immediately! This is not Saito's route!
Return immediately! It occurred to me that Hijikata-san had hardly been in a sunny mood when he'd given me the letter. If I dawdled after delivering it, that mood was extremely unlikely to improve. Alright, I'm heading back. This took a bit longer than I'd expected, so I need to hurry.
Of course. Be careful.
Whoa. I went back the same way I'd come, but by the time I returned to the Shinsengumi compound, the sun had set completely. I hope I wasn't too late. Hopefully Hijikata-san wouldn't be too mad. I'm back.
Oh, come in.
Right. The moment I stepped through the door, I could tell he was in a foul mood. The very air was heavy with it. Sorry.
What, did you lose the letter? Or did you even not make it there? You got lost. I knew it.
No, of course not. I got there just fine, and I gave Saito-san the letter.
Good. Then why did you apologize just now?
Oh, well, you looked really upset. I thought you were mad that I'd taken so long.
Oh, don't worry about that. This is just my default mood.
As he sighed, I saw the tension in his shoulders ease just a little bit.
No, I'm not mad at you.
Oh, really?
It may surprise you to learn that I have many other things to think about besides you.
Right. Did something bad happen?
Yeah, a lot of bad things. You know we've been having some trouble within the Shinsengumi, but things are starting to get dicey with the people above us, too. You're practically one of us, so I might as well tell you. There's rumble. What?
Eh? What? What the fuck?
There's rumblings that something might happen to the shogunate. If the shogunate's position changes, then so does Aizu's position in Kyo, and that eventually trickles down to us.
What's going to happen?
Well, unfortunately, we won't know until it does. Of course, it's not like me worrying about it is going to do any good. I can make some educated guesses and prepare for the Shinsengumi for some things, but...
Perhaps it was because he'd never been so open with me before, but I'd never thought about just how much Hijikata-san did for the Shinsengumi. The Shinsengumi's fate was his fate, and his decisions could steer it to glory or destruction. It was an unimaginably heavy burden to someone like me. Is there anything else I can do to help?
No. What? Running off to Tenma wasn't enough for you?
If you...
Oh.
If the Shinsengumi is in a rough spot, then... Please, I just want to help. I want to be useful. His scowl deepened, but he said nothing. Please, Hijikata-san. I bowed down until all I could see was the floor. Please, I'm begging you. I bent down as far as I could. He had to.
Damn it.
Did you sigh?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
Damn it.
I heard him move and felt something touch my chin. There.
Aww.
I opened my eyes to see his fingers under my chin, warm and dry. He lifted my face up until I was looking straight into his eyes. He was so close that I could feel his breath.
You say you want to help.
Yes.
Do you think it's wrong for you to think that?
No.
Do you want this for selfish reasons?
No. I mean, it's not like I want to make a name for myself or something like that. You've all risked your lives to protect me over and over. I just want to give you something back.
Then don't bow so easily. You believe you're right. Why should you bow if you think you're right?
Yes.
If you believe something, then don't ever bow or yield. Hold your head high and walk tall. How can we do that? We're not even that tall.
Jesus Christ. Jeez, it is 5'2".
Yeah, exactly.
Day.
You won't win if you don't keep your eyes on the prize.
Yes. I looked back at him with all the composure I could muster. I want to help. If there's anything I can do, please let me do it.
Fine.
He gave a quick smile and returned to where he'd been sitting when I came in.
Fine. If you want to help so much, then go make me some tea.
Yes.
The fate of the Shinsengumi rests on this tea. Don't screw it up.
There's that goddamn face again.
I see that he's been taking lessons from Okita.
Yes, sir. Leave it to me.
And we got flowers.
Yeah. Unable to hide my smile, I leapt up and bounded out of the room. And just before I was out of earshot, I heard Hijikata-san mumble to himself.
What's going to happen to us now? I actually pulled my mic closer. So
yes, I know. I can hear you. I can tell when the microphone is close. Because it's in my ear, sir. Stop it! Stop it!
We got an ad break in less than a minute.
The Shinsengumi, once solid, now wavered. What would happen to them? What would happen to the Fury Corps? Men were forced to watch as their friends became the undead monsters known as Furies. Was it any wonder that they found themselves conflicted, or that tempers began to rise? Several days later, the order was given to begin the Imperial Restoration. The Emperor would be restored to power, and his court would once again rule the nation. Imperial
Major restoration.
Not yet. Imperial Restoration, an overall way of thought among Imperial supporters who wanted to see the Emperor in power instead of the Shogun. The position of Shogun would be abolished, and Kyo's military and judiciary commissioner positions would be eliminated. All that the Shinsengumi had fought for and believed in was falling to pieces. You have earned a bronze trophy, War on the Horizon.
Chapter 4. So, the question is,
What?
do we continue?
No, we fucking don't.
Well, okay then. We're gonna do a quick save.
Save. Just make sure.
Back to the title screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's saved.
Title screen. Alright. Well. That was something.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my god.
Hey, yeah.
I think the highlight of that is that one bit with Drunk Ito.
Yeah.
It's like...
That's definitely going on to YouTube Shorts.
I need short content because I don't have enough drawings.
Well, guess what? You just got it.
Anyway.
Tomorrow at what?
3
p.m.?
Yep, 3 p.m. EST. We're gonna come back and draw some Hakuoki altar art. And then at 9 p.m. EST, I think.
We're doing SSL.
And probably finishing up Sun on Sun's route.
Which means we got 3 more, but...
Do we want to spin the wheel now?
Might as well.
Okay. Let's spin the wheel and see which one it lands on. It's either going to be Nagakura or Ibuki. No, intro.
Ibuki and Senpachi.
That does not mean we only have 2 routes left in this, so we have 3.
Yeah, but we're just technically saving the best for last.
Yeah. Do, 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 do.
Alright, 10 entries, 5 of each.
Oh, Lord.
Let's do this. Best of 3 wins, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. I got the first win.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, that's 2 for me now.
Oh my god.
Come on, big bucks, big bucks, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, and yeah, baby.
Really?
Yeah,
All 3 for Nagakura.
yes.
Alright then, our final order is as follows. Sanan, Nagakura, Ibuki, Yamazaki. For SSL. So,
And then what are we gonna do? Like,
good question. I don't know. I might,
once SSL is over, what then? Maybe
eh?
aren't there bad endings?
Not really. Not really a bad ending. It's like a good ending.
Okay.
But that's done at a specific point that I'd have to basically do them all over again. Speed run everything. Which is no fun. Yeah.
So, anyways, tune in tomorrow.
Yep.
Please drink water.
Have a good day or night.
Try not to die because you didn't drink water. We will see you tomorrow, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.